there, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our second session of the 2022 virtual showcases from Alpha Plus. I see lots of familiar names in the participant list, so welcome to all of you and all the people I don't know as well. I'm Tracy, and I'm going to host the first part of the session. The other people who are here, so we have Ashley and Marianne, who are the interpreters. I just give it a second to make sure everybody who needs interpreters can see them. They're going to be spotlit through the session. If you prefer to pin them, send Monica a message in the chat, and she will give you permission to pin the interpreters if that works better for you. So whatever your preference. If you want to say hi to the interpreters, you can say hi to them. Okay, great. Jeff is saying the interpreters are visible, so that's great. Okay, and the other people who are here who are working on the session are Alethea and Monica. So Alethea is going to moderate the chat, so she'll be putting in links as the presentations are going on, and we'll be taking note of everybody's questions. So if you have questions while people are speaking and you want to put them in the chat, that'd be great. And then Alethea can let the presenters know that there are questions there. Monica is our virtual showcase organizer and lead. She's put a lot of work into this, and she'll be doing the tech tips later on after the break. I can see Alan's here, so wave at Alan. He's the director of Alpha Plus. And the other staff people I don't think are here now. Christine and Gillian are the other people we work with. So some of you may have met them in your work with Alpha Plus. Okay. So here's just a little rundown of our agenda today. So from now until 3 o'clock, 3:25, we're going to have our panel discussion. And then we'll have a little break for breakout rooms where we can just get together and kind of reflect on what we've learned and share any other resources that we might be using in our programs, or you might be using in your programs, I should say. And then we'll have a break, and then we will come back for a tech Q&A. So Monica's going to talk to us about some of the tools and resources that people use when they're using YouTube or TikTok in their programs with learners. Okay. We're going to just start today with our land acknowledgement. I'll just read this. We would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral lands and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Thanks. Sorry, maybe you went a bit too fast on that for the interpreter. Sorry about that. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce the other people who are here. We have Maxine Brown Simpson, and she is an instructor at Dixon Hall, and she's the founder of WordWork, and that's what she's going to be talking about today with us here. And then from the Learning Place, which is in Brampton, we have Manal Atta and Alicia Thapar, who are going to talk to us about YouTube. And from the Prince Edward Learning Center, we have Hale Ferguson and Jennifer Hunter. And they're going to also be, they're going to talk about TikTok, how they're using TikTok in their program. Okay. So I just did a little map so that even though we're virtual, we can see where the presenters are. They're all kind of dotted along the north end of Lake Ontario. I'm in Toronto. Monica's in Brampton, and Alethea is up in Ottawa, near Ottawa. So, and you guys are in lots of different places. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll get started with the panel discussion. I won't take any more time. And the first question that we asked all of the presenters today to talk about was to just start out by telling us a little bit about yourselves, your role and your organization. And we're going to start with Maxine. So I'll turn it over to Maxine.
Thank you, Tracy, and good afternoon. I'm Maxine from Dixon Hall in Toronto. I have been working with Dixon Hall for the last 10 years, but I have been a teacher for over 30 years, teaching at the post-secondary and the secondary level. And today I am not representing Dixon Hall so much, but my work with my YouTube channel, WordWork. So thank you for inviting me to share.
Thanks so much, Maxine. And now we'll turn it over to Manal and Alicia to introduce themselves and their program and their work.
Thank you, Tracy. Hello, everyone. My name is Manal Atta, and I'm the Digital Literacy Program Manager and Facilitator at the Learning Place. I've been with the Learning Place since 2013, and I have a great passion in digital literacy. I've obtained a Google certified educator, and I'm certified in Microsoft Innovative Educator. I have a great passion about digital literacy again, and I'm an active member of Google Applied Skills Group. Here I would like also to present my organization, the Learning Place, located in Brampton, 7700 here in Ontario Street. We provide ongoing support in digital literacy, and numeracy. Plus, we have digital literacy for senior. Also, we have workshops in digital literacy, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., and employability workshops. We run program for fee for adult with learning or developmental disability to improve their life skills. We have ABLE program and more. I'm here today to introduce our YouTube channel. We call it TLP for Education. We run this channel like in January, and we have about now 1,000+ views and 20 videos posted. We have 50 subscribers. Please find us. Alicia going to be my partner today. She's gonna support me. Please, Alicia, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Tock, and I work at the Learning Place as a digital literacy instructor. So I host a lot of tech-related courses that we offer here at the Learning Place. I also instruct other workshops related to employability skills that we offer at the Learning Place. I'm really passionate about teaching and technology, so I'm always looking for new ways to incorporate some digital tools into my learning plans. I'm really excited to be here, and I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here and to be present in front of all of you. Looking forward to the session.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks so much, Alicia and Manal. And now for Jennifer and Hale, do you want to introduce yourselves and your program?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Hunter. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the program coordinator of the Literacy and Basic Skills program at Prince Edward Learning Center. We're located in Picton in Prince Edward County. We're a community-based literacy and basic skills program, and we offer many different things here. We have our essential skills upgrading program, as well as a youth employment program, a financial empowerment program for helping people file taxes and navigating all that fun paperwork that goes along with it. We also have a PEC Fresh Market, which is we offer fresh fruits and vegetables once a week to the community at wholesale prices, and our students help run that market. So I'm going to turn it over to Hale, and they can introduce a little bit about their youth program.
Thanks, Jen. My name is Hale Ferguson. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Youth Engagement Coordinator at Prince Edward Learning Center. It's a fairly new role established at the Learning Center, but essentially my work that I do is increasing the high school graduation rates within marginalized youth. So I have a few youth groups that I work with in the local high school, a Gender and Sexuality Alliance, which is a safe space for queer youth and allies to come and really just hang out. And then a inclusion committee, which is a group of youth that are wanting to make their school more accessible and barrier-free for everyone. And they've recently taken on a training seminar with staff on how to foster safe environments for queer, trans, and BIPOC folks within their school. So new role, and we're just focusing on increasing high school graduation rates, focusing on having groups that are accessible, barrier-free for marginalized communities, specifically within Prince Edward County.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Jennifer and Hale. Program sounds very interesting. And lots of cool work going on in all three places. Sorry, little things are flashing up. Okay, so now we're going to get to our second question of the panel discussion, and we'll go in the same order for each question. So we're going to ask, we've asked our panelists to tell us about the main challenge they had in creating and using videos to engage learners. So we're going to start with Maxine again. Okay, Maxine, over to you.
Thank you. So as I mentioned, I work with Dixon Hall, which is a community-based LB literacy and basic skills program. And in our program, we have multi-level learners. And what I was finding is I was having a challenge finding age-appropriate videos for my learners. And I found that I could find videos that had appropriate content, but the appeal was more for kids. And I was a little concerned about that, and I wanted to do something about it. And I kept talking to my son about it, and he suggested doing a YouTube channel. I was intimidated, and my first challenge was fear. I did not think I have the digital skills. I did not know anything about creating a YouTube channel. And so I didn't know the tools that I could use to create the videos. So I was really fearful. It took a while, and then I decided to go along. When I decided to go along, then I realized I needed to find a tool that is easy to use. That also was a challenge because I was already fearful that I didn't have the skills. So that fear was intimidating me in my search for a video creation tool that was easy to use. My son has a YouTube channel, so I spoke to him, and he was using Camtasia. So he introduced me to that, and I looked at it just once, and I thought it was too much for me because I didn't have the video and editing skills, and it looked quite intimidating to me. So I wasn't quite happy with that. Also, I wanted to be able to replicate what I do in the classroom in terms of my teaching style and in terms of engagement, learner engagement and interest. Another great challenge for me was not wanting to appear on camera in the video. I am very conscious about my ethnicity, so I'm concerned about my accent, and I didn't want to be on camera. So I had to spend a lot of time figuring out how am I going to create engaging, impactful, interesting videos and not appear on camera. How am I going to connect with my audience without them seeing me? I also face the challenge of how do I create videos by arranging content in a simple, direct, and user-friendly manner without being on camera. So I wanted my videos to be engaging for my audience to connect, but I did not want to be on camera. How do I do that in a simple, direct, and user-friendly manner? I wanted them to be short because what I noticed with my learners is that they have short attention span. So I didn't want videos that have a lot of content to intimidate them. I wanted to replicate what I do in the classroom, have short sessions with them so that they feel a sense of accomplishment, they feel a sense of success. So I wanted to replicate that in the videos as well. Short videos, so at the end of it, the user will feel, oh, I learned something, and feel motivated to see the next video because of a sense of achievement, rather than having a whole lot of content in one video for them to become overwhelmed. I was thinking mainly of my beginner emergent learners. So those are the ones I was most concerned about, because they actually have also been encouraging me to do a YouTube channel, and they were also encouraging me to do tutoring. I didn't want to do tutoring. I was also challenged by how to structure the video. I did not want to copy other people. I wanted, in my head, I'm thinking I want to replicate what I do, the sense of interaction that I have in my classroom. I want to maintain their interest. So how do I combine audio and video with images to engage and to get my lesson across? I knew nothing about being a content creator on YouTube. So when I started my research, for about 2 weeks after I actively started, I was blank, because I started watching videos of tutorials on content creation. And I was again intimidated by all the things that were being said. So I had to learn to use the jargon of YouTube and the jargon of content creators. So I had to understand the tutorials that I was watching. And I also had now to begin to feel comfortable with the jargon of YouTube. So those were some of the challenges that I found initially. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Maxine. That's a very rich overview of the challenges that you were facing. And Monica has posted a link to Maxine's YouTube channel. And I think if you go and watch her videos, you'll see that she's overcome those challenges quite amazingly and wonderfully in her work. Yeah, there's a real depth to some of the perspectives. So thanks so much, Maxine, for sharing that and being so forthcoming and honest in your reflections. Okay, so we'll move on to Learning Center now. You guys have the Learning Center. Sorry, the Learning Place. Sorry, and you guys have 3 slides. So just let me know when you want me to switch slides. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. So when I think about the question, I was able to kind of divide our challenge into two parts or two sections. The first section came from the learner's challenges itself. When we teach our learners how, in digital literacy, we notice this lack in digital literacy skills. Fears that comes from using technology, low confidence in using their devices, using their smartphones. So we started to think, how can we make them able to approach our YouTube channel if we started this kind of experience. Also, our learners, while we were thinking of creating the YouTube channel, and we were testing it, actually, we were thinking, how can we make our learners able to approach this channel? Are they able to navigate the lesson? Are they able to locate those lessons? Are they able to, if we share this lesson through, and send it to them through emails, are they able to access their emails, put their passwords if they're using different devices? So all this challenges related to the digital skills, the low digital skills that our learners have, was something we have to consider while we are building up or creating or strategizing for assigning topics or sharing topics with our learners. Because of COVID, that the education needs a lot of repetition, and this learning skills and mastering skills need a lot of repetition. So this was another challenge. We want to share with our learner materials that will be able to independently use it, repeat it, practice it, pause it. So we found YouTube channel maybe is the best way to approach our learners, and we were not able actually to find the proper channel online in YouTube to fit our learners' needs, especially if we're thinking about the video links, if we are thinking about the topics, the content, all those stuff. So this is what's related to our learners, those challenges we have to consider while we were creating our YouTube channel. Go to the next slide, Tracy, please. The other challenge was related to creating the channel itself. So as we know, we are not just kind of working on creating the channel or this project. We have our tasks, we have our teaching. So starting this new project and fit this new project within our timeline was a challenge itself. When and how can we start this training? How can we strategize in building and planning and running and managing the channel and the video content at the same time? So all this was challenged. Really, we have to sit, we have to think about it, we have to discuss it, and we have to find the right strategy that will help us to make this experience successful. Another challenge was here, how to make or create a content targeted to our digital literacy audience, to our LBS audience, because it's for the entire demography. So as you know, again, I'm repeating, our learners have limited comprehension, limited digital literacy skills. They have harder skills and the ability of navigating online or proper searching techniques online. So all those also we have also to link it to find the right plan on how to create the right video for our learners. They have a short attention span. We need the proper length for our video to make them able or stay interested in viewing the content or viewing the topic and be able to understand it and repeat it. So going to the next video. These challenges also related to came while we were getting trained. So when we started to get trained, and a special thank you to Alpha Plus and also for Monica, who was very patient with us, in providing this training. So we were thinking also and practicing and investigating and finding the proper software that will help us record our videos properly and produce this professional video and provide it to our learner. We want to also create that content that keep our learners engaged with the lesson, using the proper software tools and elements and integrated into the lesson to make it the most informative with a limited time or the right time and concise with a vivid language. The other challenge, again, it's related again to our busy days because we have lots of tasks and we're facilitating class. So we want to stay active with publishing and establishing our videos to keep our learners engaged and interested in the channels. So due to the limited timelines and bandwidth, we had a challenge to find the right plan and strategy to keep ourselves updating our learner with the topics every month at least. So do we have a next video or they're done? Or slide, sorry.
Sorry, that's the last one that
Perfect.
I have.
Okay, so those are the main challenges that we faced during thinking of starting with our YouTube channel and during creating the channel.
Thanks so much, Manal. It's so interesting. One of the things that's really standing out for me in both of these, both what you were talking about and what Maxine was talking about, is how literacy practitioners who are so grounded in a learner-centered approach are translating those principles into a user-centered approach when they're designing these digital resources. It's really fascinating to me. Once again, there's a link in the chat to the Learning Places YouTube channel, so you can once again see how they breached these challenges to create really interesting resources for the learners in their program. Okay, thanks so much. And now we're going to move on to Prince Edward County with Hale and Jennifer. So take it away.
Perfect. So some of our challenges that we had with TikTok were that I don't think anyone on our staff had really used it before. And Jennifer had been approached by someone to create a TikTok and to enter a challenge. And Jennifer had never used TikTok, didn't know what it was. And I think because I was the youngest member on the team, Jennifer reached out and was like, hey, do you know what TikTok is? And of course, being a Gen Z cusp millennial, I knew what TikTok was. So I think the learning curve was big for our staff, just because none of them had really, some of them are on TikTok, but they don't make TikToks. And like had seen them on like Instagram and stuff like that, but just creating the TikTok was a huge learning curve for everyone. And another challenge too was after we had made the video and posted it, we had over 10,000 views, and it really picked up traction. But then we realized that we posted it with a spelling mistake. So we had to go, and on TikTok, you can't just edit a video, you have to delete it and repost it. So we had to delete it and repost it and fix a spelling mistake. And then because we did that, it didn't get as much likes or views. So that was a huge challenge. Like, just like you're constantly looking at the same screen and constantly editing the same thing and looking at the words. So you already know what is being said. So finding spelling mistakes, I mean, anyone who is like an essay writer, you're reading the same thing over and over, right? So anyways, finding that small mistake, and of course, being like a literacy and basic skills, we posted a TikTok with a spelling mistake. So that was on us for sure. And then it was very time consuming because there was so many, like you see a TikTok video, it's 30 seconds, you're like, oh, that's easy. But there's so many takes and like transitions, and you have to, when you're recording the TikTok, you really have to envision the words that you're going to put being there. So there's this one part where Jen had to be pointing to like words while she was being filmed, but we didn't know where the words were going to be. So it was like Jen just had to pretend to point and then always had to point in the same direction. So there are a lot of takes on that. So very time consuming. And then, yeah, just building up a following. Like I said, like when we first posted it, we had over 10,000 views. And I think like over 100 likes, which is pretty big for TikTok. But then having to delete it and repost it, that was really hard because we didn't gain the traction that we first had gained. But yeah, I'd say our main challenges were just kind of the time that it took to create it and edit it, and as well as like teaching other staff how to use it and why it's important and following the trends and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Hale. I think, yeah, you're giving us all a good lesson on why it's important to have diversity in the staff, including generational diversity. I'm one of those TikTok people who has an account, but the only TikTok I ever made was the one we did for Alpha Plus. We did a greeting, and it is hard. It's a different kind of video making, and it takes a long time to get yourself organized. And thanks for sharing about your spelling mistake, because sometimes when we get into the technology, we forget those other pieces, right, that are there for all the editing of all the work that we do. Anyway, thanks. That's really really informative and really helpful to hear your process. So now we're going to move into
we didn't actually spend a night together because she also has the boys and a regular routine of what she does with them. Mariah's trying to juggle and make everybody happy.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. Okay. I'll just, yeah, so again, we'll go in the same order. And now we'll hear how each group overcame those challenges to create the amazing work that we can see. Oh, there's a couple of questions actually. Or there's one question. How many minutes do you have when you make a video for TikTok? Hale, did you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I was just typing that in the chat. So you can make a video that's up to 3 minutes, but I wouldn't recommend doing a video that's longer than like 30 to 45 seconds, just because you really want to engage the people that are watching it. So TikTok started off as like a small, like a 30-second clip, and that was it, and then transformed into 3-minute videos. But I really would recommend kind of keeping that to 30 to 45 seconds so that it's like, okay, because I think like, especially with like a lot of stuff being moved online with the pandemic and everything, and a lot of people are using social media a lot more. I think attention spans have definitely gone down. I know for me in particular, my ADHD is very heightened with like the pandemic and everything moved to being online. That focus is really hard, and I think TikTok is a great tool to keep it in that 30 to 45 second time frame, and then you'll really get that engagement. And then also videos kind of do well when they're shorter.
That's great. Thanks, Hale. Yeah, those are great tips. Yeah, from watching, I think TikTok operates slightly, it seems to me slightly differently in terms of engagement than some other social media. So it's great to hear those tips and strategies for getting engagement on the platform. Okay, so yes, so we'll move to Maxine now, who's going to talk about how she overcame the challenges that she was facing in making her YouTube channel. Okay, Maxine.
Okay, so as I mentioned, the challenges were many. So as I started, as I decided to start, I spoke with my son. As I mentioned, he has a YouTube channel, and I told him I was ready, and I was asking him for some suggestions how to go about it. And his response was, "You have a lot of content, you know everything what to do, so just go ahead and do it. Don't you use YouTube?" And I'm like, yes, I use YouTube, but I don't know how to go about it. So he sent me a video on tutorial on how to create YouTube channels. So I watched the video, then I saw there was a series of tutorials, and I watched them, and they were promoting Camtasia. And as I said, I looked at it, it was intimidating for me. So I remembered that I had spoken with Monica during a coaching session when we just got into the pandemic, and she had mentioned Canva. And she was mentioning Canva more so for our website and using it to import images, videos, and images into our Google site. But I did remember that she did mention something about Canva being able to create videos. So I did reach out to her and told her my idea, that I was thinking of doing a YouTube channel, what I had in mind, and I asked for her advice. So I did look at Canva after speaking with Monica and her encouragement, and I realized that Canva has images, has videos, has audios. You can use templates, and you can create from scratch. And I'm like, wow, this is a one-stop shop. So I showed it to my son, and he was impressed as well. He was saying there were more offerings in Canva than in Camtasia. So I got a little comfortable. So I started watching some tutorials on how to use Canva. And of course, I loved it because of the collection that it carries, the audios, the videos, the fonts. It's a one-stop shop for me. So again, I started watching more tutorials, looking at more channels that have similar content, but not necessarily for the same audience. So I was getting ideas as to how to structure the videos, as was mentioned by one of our colleagues here. I had to think through what is the structure I'm going to use. And so when I looked at other channels, it gave me ideas of how to structure my channel. I looked at also revisited adult learning concepts to ensure that I was not going to create videos because I was looking at so many videos that were targeting children. I had to refresh myself about adult learning concepts, make sure that I am using those to influence my content and my presentation of my videos and my methodology. So after going through all of that, what I came up with, I worked out in a slide presentation the flow of how I wanted the videos to look. And once I created the slide presentation, it gave me a clearer idea of how to structure the content and the flow. Where did I want to use images to emphasize this area? Did I want to use a video clip? Did I want to use an audio clip? How do I want to do this? So creating the slide presentation gave me the flow for the video and also allowed me to do an audio to see the timeline, how much time, because I was very conscious about making short videos. So having created the PowerPoint, the slide presentation, then I began working in Canva. Once I began working in Canva, I realized things started to come together because I could see things in a tangible manner. So I started by creating a template for the video because I started working with the most frequently used words. So I created a template in Canva that I use with all the videos related to the frequently used words. Once I had that, I reached out to some of my learners and asked them to look at it and give me their feedback. Interestingly, they were like, Maxine, what about the alphabet? So I decided to work on that as well. And also, again, with my experience with the first set of videos, I used a template. I created a template for myself and used that as the basis for creating all the videos. So now I have 4 playlists and each playlist has a template. So once the idea is conceptualized, I no longer have to go now to a slide presentation. I go straight to Canva and I go from scratch and create a template for each playlist. And then from there, I just edit for the new video. So it has become a lot easier. I spend a lot less time. In the beginning, I spent about an hour just thinking through and conceptualizing the flow and everything. But now I have worked out a workflow because I am working on this as a personal project. So I cannot do this during my work time. I am doing this on weekends after work. So what I have done, I have worked out a workflow. So I would say 2 days I am working on content, just what is the content I want to present. And then another day I will go into Canva and start creating the video, putting in the videos and the fonts, working on all of that. And then another day, I will just work on audio. And then I import into Canva, have everything together, and then do a final edit. So I have worked out a pattern that allows me to be able, if I work every day after work for at least 2 hours, I am able to create 10 videos per week. So I have worked out what works for me based on the playlist that I have at present. Yesterday, I added 1 new playlist on occupations, and that video now took me just about an hour from conceptualizing the idea, putting in the content, the audio, and from start to finish. And I was able to publish that yesterday. So it is getting easier. And as I am going along, I am learning. I am learning as I go along. Thank you.
That's amazing, Maxine. Did you say 10 a week?
Yep, I can do 10 per week.
Wow, that's a lot. Like that's incredible. Wow.
Because I am doing short videos and because I have created a template and I've worked out a workflow. So that has helped me.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting to hear all the planning. And I love that you included user testing in your plan, getting the learners to give you some feedback. It's really interesting to sort of hear too how you pulled in your support, from people from people you don't know. That was just all the places you went to get help. It's really interesting, and how you kind of like starting in PowerPoint. So starting with a technology that you're quite familiar with, and then moving towards the technology where the learning curve's a bit steeper. Really interesting. Thanks so much, Maxine. I learned a lot from that. I'm sure everybody did. Okay, so now we'll move to the learning place. And again, just let me know, guys, when you want me to switch slides.
Sure. Thank you, Tracy. So as we listed before, like the Learners Challenge, and now I'm going to talk about how we overcame the Learners Challenge. So we started to introduce the YouTube channel to our learners during the class time. So we started to offer, we kind of allocate 10 minutes, 15 minutes each class as we are teaching the digital literacy class and help our learner to navigate and find the YouTube. We help them to play the video, pause the video, maybe repeat it again, find how to just bring the screen capture, how to search the videos that we created by title, how to search our channel also by the name. So all those skills we started to introduce to our learners during the in-person class, the digital literacy class. Also, we encouraged our learner to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification on. So in this case, they will find and they will stay connected and engaged, and they will find the recent video that we will submit in their channel. So we started to see a great improvement. And when I go and Alicia and we go to check for the channel analytics, and we start to see, the views are growing and more subscribers are here, more people commenting and asking questions in the channel. So we start to see the value of the channel. So we started to evaluate, and we started to see yes, we started to overcame our challenge that related to our learners. Can I go to the next slide, please? So to overcome the challenge related to the channel or planning out the channel, I was really brainstorming and thinking, okay, I have to contact with Monica and ask her if she can provide us with this type of training. So Monica was great and amazing, and she said, yes, we're gonna start this project, let's start the training. So we have here to create a plan for training, because again, we have to find time or coordinate the time with Monica and all the teams here and start to find the right date and the days for the meeting. And our training actually with Monica, we used to meet once a month, and that took us kind of a 6-month training. But during that, every month we used to meet with Monica once, but we used kind of a system to communicate with Monica during the training time. So here we asked Monica about like, how about using Asana, or like let's have a project planner, like management system to plan our training. So she advised Asana actually, and we started to use Asana. In this case, we had a double benefit. So we are introduced to a new also project management program or software that help us also to manage more programs and projects. So we created that monthly meeting, and during that monthly meeting with Monica, we were communicating through Asana, asking questions, she was sharing files, she was sending messages, we were replying to each other, testing programs. So this is how we started to solve the issues and the problems that we started to face during the training time. Next slide, please.
That was the last slide, Mina.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. Wow, thanks. That's amazing. Yeah. No, it's really the focus on users, and I think Monica mentioned in the chat just that idea of sort of helping people understand how to use YouTube videos. Sometimes we don't think about the help that people might need to do that, and the focus on planning and using Asana, because we're trying to use Asana a bit over here at Alpha Plus as well. It's really interesting. So thanks so much. I just want to point out there's been a little bit in the chat. If you can't keep up with the chat and the presentation at the same time, don't worry. We'll collate that chat and we'll send out all the links to you after the presentation. But there was an interesting little conversation about YouTube channels and learner agency and self-directed learning in there. So I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on both things. But it's I know it can be hard. Okay, thanks so much, Manal. And now, oops. Oh, I don't have a slide for Jennifer and Hale, but
I think our slide.
Would you like to share with us?
Yeah, I think our slide is in there. It's in the. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, here it is. It's moved. Okay, okay, everybody, try not to get seasick as I go down. Is that the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's our fault.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
So overcoming challenges and what we learned. I think working through the process and kind of sticking with it, because like I said earlier, it was a long process and it took a lot of time, a lot of retakes, stuff like that. And I think just even like down to the like finding a sound bite for it, or finding a trending sound that we thought would work and was appropriate for the Learning Center, but would still kind of track the attention of young learners and folks under 30. And yeah, lots of trial and error. We started with a vision, and then we kind of went askew from that, which is fine. And then I think our main thing though is like asking for help from youth. So we actually brought someone in who's a friend of mine, and they pretty much took over because they had made some TikToks prior to this. And really, if we didn't have help from, again, I'll say it, a Gen Z, then it wouldn't have been as cool or as trending and stuff like that. And I think with the help of that person as well, we won our TikTok challenge, which was cool as well. So yeah, I think just we had a vision, it didn't work. So we did something else, finding sounds and sound bites that are trending, that are like, but not overly trending, that they'll get lost in a sea of other videos. Yeah, just stuff like that. And then making sure that it was quick and simple, but enough so that also our learners would be able to read it and understand, etc., because we wanted to make it accessible for everyone. Yeah, I think asking for help was the biggest one though.
And I might just add too that for us, like we have used TikTok very limitedly, but we've used it mostly for marketing purposes. So we haven't quite ventured into learning or using it with learners. So that's kind of like the next step, I think, for us now that we've had got our feet wet with it.
That's great. Thanks so much to the two of you and I like the point that you're making about having a vision and being able to sort of go, nope, that's not working, and figuring out a new approach, right? Because that's what happens to us a lot of the time when we're experimenting with something new. It's really great to hear that. Okay, I'm going to make everybody seasick again by flipping back to.
Sorry, if you wouldn't mind, I just also wanted to add, because I really, for Hale and Jennifer to develop the TikTok and then really agreeing to share with us, it's really new for so many of us, and it's intimidating and it's hard. But even if you don't develop new TikToks on your own, if you go and look for what other people are posting, they became almost like new producers of different videos, and you can find so many amazing lessons, tips, and things that could be incorporated into your teaching. Math tips on multiplying or adding, visual tools to help with that. There's a lot of content there that we really haven't even tapped into yet, but it's so exciting to see it and get inspired by it as well. Thanks,
Okay.
Tracy.
Yeah, no, thanks, Monica. Yes. Okay, so our last question for the panelists is, what did you learn? What advice, tools, tips would you like to share with the group that we have here today? So once again, we'll start with Maxine.
Okay. So again, I started off with fear and I'm ending with fear. Fear is crippling. That's the first thing I learned. I was encouraged for over 5 years by my son to start a YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, when I finally decided to start, and I forgot to mention, what really spurred me into action was the fact that during the pandemic, we lost a lot of our emergent learners from our program because they were not able to access virtually. They were intimidated by the technology. So I was really concerned about them because I knew that they needed the support, but they were not able to join because of fear themselves. And I know that a lot of them have smartphones. So I really started out thinking about how I could support them with the technology they have. So fear is crippling. So we have to, get over our fears. I was fearful because I didn't have the digital skills, didn't have the tools, didn't have the confidence to do it. So once I got over that, I got started. Mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. Hale mentioned about having to take down the TikTok. I also made an error in one of my videos. And my son said, no, you're not taking it down. You're going to lose those views. And I said, no, I am teaching literacy. I cannot have mistake. He says, well, I'm not taking it down. You have to take it down. Sure enough, I don't know how to take it down. So it is there with the mistake, but it's not very noticeable. But if you are, it can be detected. So I made mistakes and I'm still making mistakes, and it's okay. As I'm going along, I am learning. Once you make the first step and you begin to see success, it motivates you, it spurs you on. You want to try new things, you want to do more. And when you're getting feedback, I sent to my learners, as I said, and as was mentioned earlier about sharing with the learners because they are not able to go into the channel. What I actually did, I created a business card and a QR code. So what I do is to give them the card with the QR code so they just scan. So they don't have to worry about finding the link. And also I have encouraged them to subscribe to the channel. I have organized it in playlists, so it's easier for them when they want to find a particular lesson, they know exactly where to go. I have used the different thumbnails for each playlist, so that also, so there are visual cues when they get to the channel of what to look for, where to look. Each thumbnail identifies which lesson they will be looking at. So it is very, I try to make it very user-friendly. As I mentioned before, I have worked out a realistic and sustainable schedule. So I have created that so that in the event, we know that life happens. I am doing this on my own time. And there may come a time when I'm not able to create videos. So I am creating a bank so that on those downtimes, I am still able to post. Because now I have 4 different playlists. So I may not be able to create for them at some point. So I am creating a bank so that I can post. Also, I had decided at the outset, of course, because of fear, that I would post only 1 video per week. Now I am able to post 3 or 4. So I feel liberated. And now I feel I'm at the point where I'm just going to release all the alphabet videos. So as you go along, you learn and you can adjust to suit your style, to suit your pace and your schedule. As I mentioned, I use my own time because I am doing this as a personal project. And I still continue to watch tutorials. And I watch also other channels. When I watch other channels, what it does for me is to give me ideas on how to present. It also gives me ideas on the length. This is why I decided on short videos. And I shared with Monica when I spoke with her initially, why I decided on short videos. I was looking for a video. So my printer got disconnected. I bought a new computer and my printer was not connected to the new computer. And I wanted it to be connected wirelessly. So I went to YouTube and I looked for a video. The first one I saw had 3 different methods. And I'm like, no, I don't need to see 3 ways. I just need to see 1 way because I just need to get it done. So I clicked that off and I went to another video that had just 1 method and the 1 method worked. And I'm like, wow, that's what I need. Videos that are short, direct to the point, and can get the job done. The learner feels a sense of accomplishment. So I look at other channels for ideas, and the ideas are either what to do or what not to do to make the videos engaging, interesting, and relevant. And I would encourage everyone, if you have an idea that you want to explore, contact Alpha Plus. You will be coached and you will not be disappointed. I know I have been calling, emailing, I've been working with Alpha Plus since 2014 and I am never ever disappointed. They are always willing, even when we do not have a contract with them, they have never said no to me. So I highly recommend Alpha Plus. Thank you.
Muting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maxine. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I just tried to mute you instead of unmute myself. That's what was happening there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the high praise for Alpha Plus. I know a lot of that's been work with Monica. So, and it's, I know Alpha Plus has really enjoyed our relationship working with you as well. We've learned a lot. So it's been a two-way learning channel for us. I love that you started with fear. It was reminding me, somebody once, they were learning about learning styles, and they asked me if fear was a learning style. And it made me laugh because I thought, yeah, we do learn a lot of things in that space of fear, right? Yeah, it's so interesting, just how you make it user-friendly, where you get all your information from, and using your own experience on when you go to videos to find out information, what you want to see, and using that experience to design your videos. Really interesting. Thanks so much, Maxine. And now we'll move to the learning place and hear about what they've learned.
Yeah. We learned a lot of lessons here. We learned that YouTube channel was not a bad idea, actually, to think about. It was an excellent tool to reach our wide range of learners. We have a huge waiting list for people who are waiting for digital literacy training. So YouTube channel is something that we can share with everyone, with our learners, that they will be able to approach, start practicing and strengthening and mastering their skills. Or we able also we learned from that how to work, create a plan, how to create a feasible project plan that will keep us on track. And as I mentioned, Asana was one tool that helped us to keep connected with a trainer, and he helped us also keep connected with each other as a team getting the training. It was so interesting because there were many tools I was using, me and Alicia, and actually this training was happening on Fridays, like when people want to have their long weekend. We get the training tips and we run always to test that during the weekend. So we spend the weekend testing the videos, trying the softwares. And we used to call Alicia, how things going with you, huh? She said to me, oh, I'm finding difficulties, lots of background sounds happening here, so let's try to clear it. So it was not only a challenge, it was a fun experience for us to learn something new and test it. Here we try to find the high quality video editing. We learned that it's extremely important because we tested during this 6 months, we tested a lot of softwares to find and select the right one. We started from YouTube. We tested we tested the YouTube tools itself. We tested PowerPoint presentation for recording presentation. We tested some programs like Adobe Acrobat, and it comes in a free version, but we want to see if this is something that is suitable to our team and provide us with the right features and elements that we want to integrate in our lesson. We also use the techniques to be able to communicate with each other and see if we are going in the right track. So in here, we use some technology tools, we use the Google Sheets to communicate and collaborate. So especially during the training, we were saying, okay, what is the topic? Alicia, you're teaching. what are the difficulties? What do you think the topic that we wanna like select to record? We discuss it, we plan it, and we select the topic. And then we start to plan it. Actually, it goes through a system. So here we created a system, like a checklist for us to help us going through the steps. So we meet together and we decide the new recording lesson for the month or twice a month. We create a lesson material. We review actually the material to see if this materials is appropriate for our learner. It has the right language. It has the right links. It has one skill at a time. Sometimes we record a video and we realize, oh, this video includes 2 skills, 3 skills. No, Alicia, let's break it down into 2 videos or 3 videos. So we keep our learner engaged and it's easy for them to just go and repeat it again. Other step is to record the lesson and we view it together, we discuss it together, and then we say, should we edit from here? What do you think about this? And we edit it again before we just list it and put it up in the YouTube channel, put the screen capture and publish the lesson. All those steps we go in a list and we put this list in Google Keep. Actually, I found a Google Keep, an excellent tool that will help me and Alicia stay collaborating. So even if I'm not able because of the schedule and the classes, I cannot meet with Alicia, I know that Alicia and me, we did that step, so we can move to the next step and we can communicate. So we take that list and we put it in Keep. Every time we record a new video, we name that list with the lesson's name, and then I share it with a team or a person who's collaborating with me, so we can follow with each other and see the progress of the work. So this is one of the important tools that help us to progress. Google Sheet was an important tool also that helped us, especially during the training. So we were taking feedbacks and question and add it in there during the month, and then we share it and discuss it with Monica. That was another beautiful tool. So also what helped us there is actually going and visiting YouTube frequently and check for the analytics page there where we can see how the channel is performing, who's commenting, who's viewing the channel, how many people are viewing from our organization through the search, through the, for instance, the channel itself. So all that gives us indication about are we who are the topics started to become more public? So are more people using our channel? Are we going the right track? So all those help us really to plan our work, and it helps us to save in our time. So I remember that when we started to test our YouTube, video editing, it was taking from us about 5 hours to edit 4-minute videos actually. And then by the time, slowly now, it's, oh, Alicia, it's taking 1 hour actually, and we're reviewing it, and it's really fun. And then we review, okay, cut from here, edit from here, maybe let's add this educational tool, let's add a bubble here and give a comment to the learner, etc. So it came gradually, those improvement with the skills, and it was a fun experience, honestly.
That's great. I wasn't advancing on your slides properly, I don't think. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
But people can check the slides to see all the different tools that the Learning Place was using. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really coming across too, the time commitment that this takes, right? Especially in the beginning, but both you and Maxine have sort of highlighted after work and the weekend work that that you've been doing on it. It's really amazing. But thanks for that. It's very interesting to see all the different things that you used and what your workflow looks like. So thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Prince Edward County. So here's your slide, I think.
Great.
So Jennifer Hale.
So I think some of the most important factors are definitely, I said this before, but keeping it short and just kind of getting your message across right away. Finding those trending sounds, which can be hard to do if you're not familiar with the app for sure. So again, like inquiring with other youth or even just taking a stab in the dark at TikTok and looking through trending sounds and seeing if you can kind of get there. Stuff that's easy to read and follow along, especially if you are like essential skills or literacy and basic skills, stuff like that. You want people to come to you and be able to know where they're going, what you're providing, how they can benefit from your services, stuff like that. Double checking spelling and grammar, like I said before, so you don't lose all of those views and likes and all of that kind of outreach that we started. Following trends. So if there's a trend of like, I don't know, if there's like a sound bite that's trending, or if there's like a certain visual that's trending, kind of follow that and incorporate it in with your work. It might seem like, oh, how am I going to incorporate like a tutoring skill or a math lesson with a trending sound or dance or whatever? But a lot of people are doing it. It's pretty easy. You just have to make it work. And don't overcomplicate it too. I think like do what's easy for you and what you think will work. And that's what we did. We did what was easy for us. It took us a long time, but we kept to the same like location. We didn't move locations. Our transitions were very easy. It was just what worked for that. Alan just asked, what is a trending sound? Is this licensed music or audio already on TikTok itself? So a trending sound is audio that's already on TikTok. It could be a song. We'll give you an example right now. So there's a show right now called Stranger Things. And in one of the episodes, it featured Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Classic. Everyone loves Kate Bush. But now Kate Bush has hit her all-time high streaming because of that song, because youth are watching the show, heard that song, and now it's all over TikTok, and people are like making videos with the sound of Running Up That Hill in their TikToks. So now Kate Bush has reached her all-time highest streaming last week with that song because youth heard the song like, oh, this is a great song. So that's an example of a trending sound. It comes from pop culture, media, shows, TVs, stuff like that. And there is a section on TikTok where you can click sounds and it says what's trending. So yeah, it can be music, sound bites, stuff like that. I don't know if there are copyright implications of using trending sounds. You don't need permission or licensing. Like it's not something that will get taken down. I think, it's not as, I know copyright issues in the past with like making YouTube videos and stuff like 5 years ago, it was a huge thing. I think now it's not as much because I think with social media being so relevant in everyone's lives, and musicians seeing how much further their career can go with music on these apps, that licensing and copyright isn't really a thing on TikTok. I don't know if that answers that question. And yeah, hire a Gen Z. They're the best. They have grown up with screens since they were a kid. They know what's trending. They know how to teach you. And that's what we did. And we got over 10,000 views on our TikTok, which was great. And I'm not sure if you can click the link or not, but we can watch our TikTok if you're able to click that link.
Yeah, it's not clickable on the slide, but I think Alethea will pop it in the, pop it in the chat.
Yeah, I can pop it in the chat as well if you want. Okay.
She's put it in the chat, so if you want to see the video they made, the TikTok that they made, that's great. Yeah. No, the trending sounds, it's true. I think one of the first things when I first got on TikTok, it was when that guy had done that video with the cranberry juice and the Fleetwood Mac song. And
yeah.
So everybody was, and the reason I knew about it is because on other social media, people really started talking about Fleetwood Mac again, and they're quite an old band. So yeah. Yeah, those are great TikTok tips. Thanks so much, Hale. It's I like your last tip. That's great. Yeah, sometimes you just got to ask the experts, right? Got to find the people who know what they're doing. Yeah, no, that's really great. And I haven't looked at your video yet, but I'm definitely going to go and check that out. So these guys, they have shared their places to contact them. So if people have questions or want to get in touch, I'm assuming that's an invitation that you're putting out. Is that right? Yeah. You can find them on TikTok or Instagram or on Facebook. That's their social media spots. Okay, that's great. So so I think the questions that I noticed in the chat were all answered. Alethea, is there anything there that you wanted to bring forward? I know you're following that closely.
Yeah, no, it's great because I feel like Hale was following along the questions as they were being popped with regards to trending sounds and copyright implications. So I don't actually see any outstanding questions from the audience. Okay. So I feel like we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody has a question or anything, just put up your hand or pop it in the chat. And while we're seeing if there are any more questions, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who joined the panel today. It was so interesting and so nice that you're, again, generous with your time. You're being generous with your time working with learners on these projects that are quite time consuming, and you're being really generous with your time and your knowledge and your expertise with all of us to help us get better at what we're doing in our practice and giving us lots of great ideas about new ways to engage learners and for us to just engage with our internet world. So thanks so much. We really, really appreciate it. And we all learned a lot. Okay. I'm just watching the chat, but there's no questions in there yet. So the next thing that we're going to do is we'll have a chance for us to reflect in small groups on what we just learned and think about what we're doing and what kind of information we would want. But just before we go into the breakout rooms, because I know sometimes people need to leave early and they leave at this point, I'm just going to remind people, I think Alethea will put it in the, from a boomer. Okay, great. Put this link in the chat. We have an evaluation form, as we always do. And we're asking people how you felt this session went, but we're also asking people for ideas for what you'd like to see next in the showcases, what kind of stuff, and especially if you're doing something interesting that we may not know about, that you would like to share in a showcase. We'd love to hear about that. So thank you for that. Okay. So I don't know if we decided, Monica, if it would be me or you who did the breakout rooms. So there's about 40 people now.
Yes, and I think a few will be leaving. So before everybody was, just give everybody a few minutes to do the form if some of our participants are leaving. I also want to mention that if we have participants who need interpretation, then what we can do is those participants can stay with us in the main breakout room, in our main room, I should call it this way. So don't join any breakout rooms, just stay in the main session. That way we'll have the interpreters here and we can answer any questions, or we can have a really nice discussion around that. And everybody else, Tracy, what do you prefer? You do the breakout rooms or I do the breakout rooms?
I can do it. How many do you think we should do?
How about we have a bit of time, so that's perfect. We have enough time to give everybody. So maybe 4 or 5 people per room, depending on how many we still have with us before we start.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'll try 6 rooms.
Yeah,
I'm just watching the numbers. Okay. If you're bailing, take off now. Okay.
So
all right.
As Tracy is setting up the breakout rooms, just take a look at what we hope you will have a chance to discuss in the breakout room, which is really reflecting on the discussion. Some of the things you have learned, the tools you have heard about, the tips and ideas from our presenters. As we can see, it's not a very smooth process. That's a learning curve that we all have to go through, but there are also great benefits to using some of those tools. So we hope that you will have a chance in the breakout rooms to really just chat about that, share your stories maybe, or your experiences. And then when you finish, come back to us, to the main room, and we'll see if we can debrief a bit. And after the breakout rooms, we're going to take a 5-minute break so that our interpreters and everybody else can have a bit of break as well. And then when we come back at around 3:30, we will have tech Q&A. And Alicia, who was presenting with Manal, she is really excited to show you how they're using Camtasia. So she wanted to do a live demo for you. So if you can stay for that, that would be fantastic. We will give her this first spot in the tech Q&A, just to give you an overview of some of the tools that we are talking about. So I hope you will stay with us. And if not, please don't forget to fill out our Google Forms.
Okay, I'm going to open the rooms now. So just join your room. Oh, wait a minute. We want the interpreters to stay in the.
Yeah, so they don't have to be assigned. And even if they are assigned, they just don't have to join.
Okay.
They just don't join the session, the breakout.
Okay, you have been assigned to rooms, just don't go there. Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
Perfect. So there will be a lot of activity.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then we can see who is staying with us in the room and who is leaving. And for those of you who are staying with us in the main room, feel free to either speak in the chat or kind of volunteer, and we will turn on your videos, or whichever way works for you. Participate in our breakout room and let us know, what are your reflections about the topics we covered today? Okay, the ASL interpreters are here. Tracy, you're here. I'll remove your spotlight if that's easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
I can see somebody's in a room by themselves, so I might pip in there. Sure,
perfect. So I can see we have Christine here. Christine Nelson. Any reflections about today? What did you think about the YouTube session or the TikTok? What's resonated with you? And then if you want, feel free to turn on your video. So as Christine is setting up, I'm trying to see if we have Behishta with us in the room as well. Let's see. I think she is. I'm just going to bring her back. See if that's going to work. Perfect. Okay. Oh, there's Behishta. Hi, Behishta. We are just trying to connect again, and we are asking what did you think about the session so far? What did you learn? What resonated with you?
I think it's very worthwhile. I've learned a lot. Also, I have worked a little bit with Canva. It's new to me. I started with it about 2 weeks ago. I haven't really dug deep into it yet, but I noticed that Maxine's presentation was just so informative. I learned a lot from her, and I'm going to continue to work more with Canva. Now, that idea of fear being a barrier, I noticed with some of my students, that's a barrier for them. They don't have a lot of comfort with technology. So maybe I'll use some of these tips and resources and share them with the students to help them develop some basic skills and build their confidence. But I find this all very beneficial. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Behishta. And Maxine, I'm really sorry. I kind of pulled you out from your room because I think you were alone in that room. And Behishta was just sharing with us that she really enjoyed your session. So I'm like, okay, let's bring Maxine back.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been lovely. Thank you, Maxine. Hi.
Perfect.
Hi there.
Perfect. Anybody else? Who else would like to speak up a bit about the experience so far and reflections maybe? Not too many volunteers. Should I call out on someone?
Just to say, you know, it's a personal project that I am doing, but as I mentioned, I am influenced a lot by the learners I have. And a lot of it, my focus at the outset was on catering for their needs. But one of the things I have learned, as Manal mentioned about the Google Analytics, expect the unexpected. I was surprised to see that now the channel is at over 400 subscribers, and the channel was launched on March 1st. And what I have noticed is that most of the subscribers are outside of Canada. India, Pakistan, Iraq are where the subscribers are mainly from. So it's a very interesting journey. And as I've said, I am learning as I am creating the videos as I go along. I am learning more from the experience and also from the feedback of the subscribers and the learners who are using the channel.
Wow. That is really amazing. Thank you, Maxine. And you know, it's YouTube, a bit longer videos, a different learning curve, different tools. I always think about desktop, laptop versus mobile device, because TikToks are usually mobile devices. And when we get to the tech Q&A section, we'll cover a bit more about TikTok just because of how we are using those devices differently. So of course, younger generations are a bit more used to the mobile devices than we are. So they may have a slightly different preference and be a bit more open to trying or making mistakes as well. But it is so amazing to hear you, Maxine, and Manal and Alicia talk about, you know, that fear, the trial and error, making mistakes. You know, we all are a bit scared of that, but your learners, when you really see how much they benefit from that, that's the amazing part, because now you're building something that they can use at any time. They can come back and review in the evening or on the weekend if they want. And I know, Maxine, we worked on using a different tool a long time ago, but during our work with Eventbrite, Evernote. We also pointed to videos. I do recall you telling me you had learners coming in asking for more links because they wanted to learn even more. So there's something to that engagement with them and that participation in a slightly different way, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Behishta, I'm sorry, I'm going to point to pick on you again, if that's okay. You work in a very specific community, and I know videos would play a big role. And I'm sure many programs already have YouTube channels. How does it work for you with working on YouTube or trying to develop videos?
Well, yes. The learners I work with use Gmail, so they have Google accounts already. so it's quite easy for them to access YouTube videos, and many of them aren't aware that they in fact have a YouTube account because they have a Google account. So we start with the basics, getting them set up with a Google account, and you know that the various tools, the little waffle menu that is associated with the Google account, that they can, from their email, YouTube access other websites from that. And then also, I think there's some that have made their own videos. One student made their own video from 2017 and then completely forgot they had posted it. So I was like, don't you remember you have this video? So I think what they need is a lot more refreshers and reviewing and practicing those skills again and again and again, because if they do it once and leave it, it's easy to fade into their memory. And of course, sign language is really suits YouTube, suits videos. But the video they made from whatever back in 2017, they made with their laptop, but now a lot of people are posting from their smartphones and posting directly to YouTube. But it's really interesting. They didn't even realize they had their own YouTube video and YouTube channel.
That's amazing. And for everybody who is staying with us in the breakout room, with YouTube videos, I think one of the biggest lessons for me over time was that, yes, we create videos, we post them on YouTube, but there's so many other videos. Like we love Maxine's videos. We can add her videos to our playlist and it becomes part of our collection. So we don't have to redevelop the same videos. We can repurpose, reuse, and find amazing resources and add them to our collection to engage our learners. And some of them can be specifically on a topic that we're looking for, but other could be general topics that our learners may be interested in, just to watch, to learn about, or even, kind of like icebreakers or things to give you a break during the day. A fun, interesting video you may want to watch. So we may not have time to do this here, but if you follow Alpha Plus on social media, you may have seen, we have posted a video about horses. And it was a video from Ireland, which was unbelievable, very interesting, very engaging. That would be a fantastic topic for a conversation in any class or with any students. It doesn't always have to be fully educational the way we think about that. So there's room for that exploration, for that space to have a bit more fun with it. And when we look at TikToks, that's even crazier, right? Because as we heard, the sounds, the special effects we can do, the transitions, they can help us again engage in a very different way. Yeah. No, go ahead, Bahisha. Yeah.
Yes, that's so true. With TikTok now, this is new to me. About 3 weeks ago, I finally downloaded it onto my phone. But of course, I had to learn what to do. I'm still new to it. And as I develop my confidence, I'm encouraging my learners to download TikTok. And now it's become quite popular, and they'll film themselves. They start with very basic videos. But as they develop confidence, they can take it to the next level and do YouTube. YouTube involves maybe a little bit more work. TikTok, because they're so short, and it's really popular right now, but because they're so short, we're using that as a stepping stone towards encouraging them to film YouTube videos, which are sometimes a little bit more onerous.
Yes. And if you remember, even for me personally, YouTube videos were my go-tos to install a faucet or to do something around the house, right? Kind of instructional tips that we were looking for. I think, Maxine, you mentioned, looking for some information on YouTube as well, right? But the TikToks, because they're so short, you can just really swipe through them until you find something that engages you. I found it amazing to use for gardening, for home decor, all kinds of different topics that you wouldn't even think you get engaged with. Inspirational quotes or pets and animals. That's my pet peeve. I would spend hours looking at that. But it is engaging in a way. And yes, it can take up your time. But when we talk about developing digital skills, that's one of the pieces we're also working on with our learners. That's giving them that confidence to be able to navigate on a device, to swipe, to click, to do all kinds of things. So when we teach them other skills, they are adapting and using them very, very quickly.
That's very true. I absolutely agree. That makes perfect sense. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so let's check in with a few of our other participants. We have Jeff with us. We have Peter, Melanie, and Christine. Anybody else that may want to comment about today? And Alicia, of course. I'm just watching the video to see if somebody shows the video, but no. So Alethea, I'm going to pick on you. You are a bit different generation than some of us. What's your experience or tips about YouTube or TikTok?
I mean, I find it so fascinating, just like venturing into this world, like of YouTube and TikTok. And I think like I can empathize as well with like not necessarily knowing how to approach it. I feel like the points you mentioned about even just getting it, and that's why Maxine, I feel the testimony is so powerful, because it's very, I think your starting point is like is the same as our starting point, where there is fear and not knowing, how to approach it. But then just going out there, and you learn every time you try to put yourself out there or explore. So I feel like it's a really worthwhile initiative. And once you build that, I guess that base of people who are learning from you and following your content, I feel like that's so rewarding. So it's a lot of work, I guess, to get there, but then I think it's really rewarding to have people knowing that people are finding value in your content. So yeah.
And with TikTok, specifically TikTok, I think because it comes with so many different tools, so you can add different sounds if you need to use those. You can add transitions if you want to. You can actually combine videos with pictures, and you can even add closed captioning. So all that together is built into this device. And then it takes time to get used to it. Of course, we will all make mistakes. I sometimes try to make myself, I do a video of some movement and try to see how it will transition for me, how it will work. It works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes, but it's trying, right? Kind of exposing yourself to it and experimenting with it until you kind of get more and more comfortable. And as Hale said, different generations are a bit more exposed to it. They're more familiar with it. There will be different things they will like. Like I always was confused about some TikToks where somebody is watching a scene and then recording themselves reacting to that scene. It's one of those trends that you watch, and I'm sitting there like, that doesn't resonate with me at all. But there are other things that I will pick on, right? So it's trying to find what speaks to you or what speaks to your learners, right? And then kind of engaging them in that way. So even on TikTok accounts, if you follow somebody, you can see what videos they liked. And then kind of you can pick and choose from them. So for us, as we are exploring TikTok, for example, we look for math videos and other tips that are very interesting and very engaging, because it doesn't require us to develop it. We can actually use the ones that are already there.
Yeah, it's true. There's so much.
Sorry,
I know Marianne's interpreting. So.
Yeah.
There's so much great learning content out there on TikTok and YouTube. It's great to either create content or consume the content.
Yes,
I think we benefit both ways.
Exactly. And Maxine, one thing that I just wanted to go back to your YouTube videos, because when I looked at your playlist, which was really nice to see as well, on your cover of your videos, you are actually putting what you're focusing on in the video. So even the graphics, right, are amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I try to make it user-friendly.
Yes. Perfect. So I think we're all coming back, so I'll hand it over to Tracy again.
Hi there, everybody. Just wait a minute to see if everybody's back. I think so. We're down to 17 people. So lots of people had to pip off and do other things. So did anybody have any questions that came up from the work they did in their breakout room, or ideas that you want to share with the larger group? I know there was a question about Canva. Do you want me to start with that? And
Sure.
then, okay. So people were wondering about, so it's sort of for Maxine, because you told us you were working in Canva. Can you make the whole video in Canva? Or and then just upload that to YouTube, or?
So it depends. So the ones I started out with first, I did in Canva, and then my son converted it into Camtasia. But like I said, the one I did yesterday, all of it was done in Canva, because Canva limits the amount of audio in one video. So now that I'm getting a little more comfortable, I'm doing the audio recording in larger chunks so that I can have the video in one piece, rather than what I was doing previously, recording in two pieces, because I was intimidated and doing the audio in little bite sizes. So yes and no. There is a limitation about the number of audio that can be in one video.
Okay. Is that with the free account, or do you have a paid?
It's a paid account. It's a paid account
Okay.
I'm using. Yes.
Okay.
But keep in mind that all nonprofit organizations get a free account from Canva. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who was saying they had was it you, Manal, that said you had a not-for-profit account?
Susan?
No. Susan, yes, sorry. I was pipping into all the rooms and now I can't remember who said what, but yeah.
So Maxine, does that mean that if you record one long audio track, that's okay, but they just have a limit on the number of individual audio clips?
It seems so to me, because the message comes up that I've exceeded the number of audios. So the video I did yesterday, I had like 5 pieces, and the entire video was just a little over 2 minutes. But the other videos I did before were like 1 minute, but a little over a minute, but they were several audio recordings, and those had to be done in 2 pieces. So I think it is the length of the number of audio rather than the length.
Okay. And it's just to add to Canva as well, what Maxine is doing with the videos. You can insert videos and images to illustrate your video, which is amazing, because you can do a bit of transitions or narration with the image in the background to kind of combine it together. And when Maxine refers to Camtasia, then she is taking it to a bit more higher end or bigger video editing tool that allows you to give you more options to actually cut and then bring your own other audio, cut out tiny pieces, something that Canva doesn't have as much control over. So it's just kind of taking it to a bit of different level with the tools that are being used. And I should mention again, Alicia is here. So when we go back to our tech Q&A after the quick break, so around 3:30, she is going to do a quick demonstration on the Camtasia, if you are willing and have time to stay for that. Sorry.
And I didn't mention also, in Canva, you can actually record yourself in Canva. I'm still not at that confidence level as yet, so I am still recording using my cell phone.
Okay, see, so you can bring in other devices and combine that. I would never even think about that.
All my audio recordings are done on my cell phone, and then I move them into Canva.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm not yet confident to record in Canva, but it has the capability.
So I just have a question. I had just brought it up briefly within our breakout group. So I'm teaching math here, and I often use whiteboards like Jamboard or the whiteboard on Zoom or whatever. What technically might one use to demonstrate something on a whiteboard, but then insert that into Canva? Because I take it Canva doesn't have its own virtual whiteboard, unless it does. Like what technology would you use to record yourself doing something on a whiteboard and then put that into Canva?
So you can use your cell phone or a video recorder.
But how would that
So what I
record.
do, so you upload it. It has an upload feature
Yeah,
where you can upload images, you can upload audio, you can upload video. So you would record the video of yourself doing the activity and then upload it as a video.
right. So I'm just kind of asking for any input somebody has as to what's the best way to record yourself doing something on a virtual
Yeah.
whiteboard.
And
Yeah,
if I
we-
can,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, Alicia, you can go ahead.
No, you go, Manal. I know you're gonna
Oh.
say the same thing.
Okay, we have tried different tools in this way because I also used to teach math. I find like Zoom has a whiteboard and you will be able to record through Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Record yourself, record the whiteboard, and you can download this and you can edit it and upload it back to Canva. This is one way. Another way, you can use a whiteboard through the Jamboards through Google, from Google, G Suite. So if you use that, and while you're recording the screen using any other tools like FreeCams, for instance, recording tools, or record your screen through the Windows tools if you're using Windows. This is another way, like you can record the video, edit it, and then upload it back to Canva or upload it to YouTube or any other platforms if you want. Alicia, do you have any input?
What was the product that you just mentioned that you use to record yourself on Jamboard?
The Jamboard and Zoom. Zoom has its own recording.
No, I know about Zoom. I just didn't understand the word you said that you record yourself.
FreeCams 8. FreeCam is a program, or it's a program that you can download and use it for free, and it will record your screen. So let's say whatever you're presenting in YouTube or in any other tool, like a presentation, PowerPoint, so you can present that and that will record your screen, and you can simply edit through that FreeCam 8, and then you can upload it wherever you want to any other platform.
FreeCam, FREECAM 8?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There's another one, Screencastify. I pasted the link earlier, but I pasted it again right now.
Yeah.
So that does the same thing. You can record your screen, whatever you're doing. So whatever you have open, and you can take the video off and use it any way you want.
I think Courtney also is saying that you can actually just do it right in Canva, right, Courtney? Is that?
It's in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just poking around at Canva here, and they have a record yourself option, and it allows you to choose a Chrome tab. So if you had Jamboard open, you could just record your Jamboard in that Chrome tab, and it should pop it right into the Canva editor for you.
And just very mindful of Behishta, and we have also, Courtney, you raised your hand, and Behishta also had the raised hand, just so that we don't forget.
Okay. So Courtney, is that why you had your hand raised, was to share that tip?
Yep, that was it.
Okay. Okay. So where'd she go? Behishta?
Yeah, Bahishta's saying, yeah. So the reason I was asking, or why I had my hand raised, because I had used another, sorry, something the interpreter's not sure about. I had also used Camtasia. Okay, so this is the sign for it. So I had been using that particular software. I started using that a while ago, probably back in 2009. So I had an old version of that on my computer, version 8 that I had. So it wasn't the best, but I was comfortable using it. I knew how it worked. So after about 2 years, though, I stopped using it. And then I noticed that 2 years ago in 2020, when COVID hit and everything, I was stuck at home. I had to figure out how to do my work from here, how to continue teaching, how to connect with my students, and I didn't know how to use the new software, Zoom, for example. I didn't know how to use at that time, or the students didn't know how to use it, pardon me. So I downloaded the updated version of Camtasia. So I had, Camtasia 8, and now it's much newer. So that was a huge learning curve for me at first. I had to figure out what to do with the new one. But once I got used to it, I figured out how to do the recording feature, how to record Zoom, and I could put it on YouTube right from there. So I saw with that, my students' confidence grew as well at the same time. So so I just wanted to say Camtasia has been really useful, especially for capturing sign language. And especially now with the cameras, the much updated newer cameras we have today can capture really good quality video, and we can have the captions included in there as well, especially for hearing folks who are viewing, non-deaf folks who are viewing the videos and don't know sign language. So yeah, Camtasia has been really worth it for us at our organization.
Mm-hmm. So I just added in the chat that both Canva and Camtasia have those recording tools. So you can actually pick and choose which one works better for you, which one you're more comfortable with.
Excellent. Okay. So should we take a little break? Because everybody need to stand up.
Yeah, so maybe we can do, if those of you who don't plan to stay for our Tech Q&A, maybe we can do the final survey just before everybody else, because not everybody may come back. And we just want to get your feedback.
So Alethea, do you have the link handy? Can you pop that in the, pop it in the chat again? There it is. So yeah, so if you're not going to come back after the break, please check out our evaluation form and let us know what you thought of today and what things you might like to see in the future. That would be really helpful to us. Otherwise, what time do you want to come? Should we come back at 3:35? Is that 3:32? Just if that's okay, 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, because we have a tight Q&A section. Okay, we'll come back at 3:32. Just enough time to stand up and do something. Okay. Perfect. Right. Thank you, everyone. Okay. See you in a couple of minutes. Yep. Perfect. And our videos are coming back. So everybody's coming back, or whoever decided to stay. So thank you again for taking a bit more time to stay with us and chat about different tools. And special thank you to Alicia, who is excited to share with us a tip and agreed to stay for the Tech Q&A as well. So just to give you a bit of idea of what I hoped we can do within the next less than half an hour now, I just wanted to have a bit of a discussion with everyone. You know, what are you using? Are there tools we didn't mention in our session that you may be using and would want to recommend? We wanted to touch a bit more on storyboarding and how we go about that. And then get into tools like Loom. We mentioned that in the chats. I want to kind of give you a bit of overview. Camtasia, and that's something that Alicia is going to share. And then a bit of a discussion about YouTube editor. And finally, some discussions around TikTok. So quite a few things, not too many, just again, because of our time we have. But because Alicia is limited on time, we are going to jump into a bit of a Camtasia first before we jump into the other topics, if that's okay. And Alicia, are you okay with sharing the screen and showing us what you wanted to demonstrate? Yes?
Yes, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
And okay.
So let's see if we can do around 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, 5 minutes are perfect.
Okay.
So I just want to give you like a quick rundown. I know we have been talking about a lot of tools that you can use for creating and editing videos. So I just wanted to give you kind of an idea on one of the tools that we used, Camtasia, for all of our videos, and that we have been finding really useful in the video creation process. So this is what the Camtasia screen typically looks like. I hope you can see my screen. Am I good? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens when you start editing a video in Camtasia, it saves it as a project. So I'm going to try to move this bar up way. So it gives it a name and it will save it as a project. So all the editing you do in here would be saved as a file on your computer. And you can always go back in future, edit something out, the music, the video, and just resave it with a new version and then upload it on your YouTube or the way you want to use it. So usually when you open a new project, you won't see a lot of things on here like you see on my screen. This is one of our latest videos. I posted the final video link that's on our YouTube in the chat box before I begin sharing. So I'm going to take you quickly through the process it took me to get to that final product so you can see really what Camtasia is capable of and the things you can do with it. Now, as we were discussing, Camtasia does have a button for you to record. So you can record your video, you can screen record it. All you have to do is just click on this button, see which aspect you want to record. So there's an option to record your screen. So whatever you do on your screen, you can record it. You can record yourself, your face through the camera. I don't do that as well. As Maxine mentioned, I'm not that comfortable yet. So I don't record my own video, but I usually share my screen and I'll record my display. And this is the button I most of the time use. But if you already have a video that you already recorded on your phone and you want to add it and edit it, you can always simply just click on this plus icon, import media, and it will allow you to enter any pictures or videos, and they will appear in this media bin. So if you see here, I have 2 recordings. I recorded this video in 2 parts for some reason, and I have those 2 recordings here. So once you have those recordings, now the entire work is done on this timeline at the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to drag these recordings and kind of drop them exactly on the time where you want that video to begin and kind of start sequencing your video. So if you only have 1 recording, it's very easy. You just drag it and start it from the 0, and that's it. Now, once you have your video on here, your editing starts. So let me just zoom in if I can a little bit. So this is, in this case, this is my 2 videos that I have, the main videos. And the very first thing that I struggled and I really wanted to learn was how to crop some parts out of the video. So these are really, it's really easy in Camtasia with this green and red button. So if you kind of drag it, it selects a certain area. So you can just put this green marker from where you want to start and put the red marker where you want to end. And all this area will be cropped the moment I select the scissor from here. That particular area will be removed, and that's it. So this was the very first thing, I think the basics when we are editing a video, we make bloopers, we have background noise. So the one thing I really wanted to know was how to crop stuff out. So it's pretty simple in Camtasia. I tried Adobe, I didn't find it that easy, could be personal preference, but I found it easier in this. So that's how you crop. And there are many other different features. If you see this video, I have transitions. So if I just start a little bit of a video, in the beginning, so I have posted the video separately. I don't want to take too much time, but you will see some transitions like arrows, some animations. And the way I did it is through here. So if you go into transitions over here, you have different animations, just like we have in PowerPoint that you can use. All you would do is select it, drag it onto the timeline, and you will see, it will show you the areas you can drop it in with the yellow color. So it helps you go from one part of the video to another. So in this case, I can put a transition from one video to another by just dropping it in middle. And that way you can make your videos more interactive. The last feature that I will quickly go through are the annotations. I really like this feature and I use it a lot in my videos nowadays. So I'm not sure where exactly I can show you. It's really good to point or guide your reader's attention, the audience attention towards a specific thing, and you can mark it out and label it. So all you have to do is just select a call out, drag it onto the screen and place it over here and just type whatever you would like to type over here and it labels it. And that's it. There are many other features that Camtasia does have. And honestly, even if we do, I think a day of tutorial, it will be less. But these are just some of the basic features that you can use Camtasia for. One thing that the last thing I would like, I would like to save my project. So if you go under file and you can always save as, save this project because it will be helpful in future in case your video gets corrupted or you want to revisit and change something. So you want to save this video in your file computer somewhere. And once you're ready, once you like the product over here, the video over here, you can export it either into a local file, so it will download a MP4 video on your computer, or if you connect it directly to your YouTube, you can simply upload to your YouTube right from here, or your Google Drive. So once the product is ready, you can use the final video anywhere, and this project will be saved on your computer, and you can revisit it at any time.
Amazing. Alicia, thank you for that very quick overview. Any questions or thoughts from other participants? What did you think? Does it look complicated?
It can be overwhelming initially. Initially, I was telling Manal, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What are these timelines? There's so much stuff around here.
Yes.
But I just try to use one tool at a time. So if you see the first video we have on our channel versus the last, in the last one, I use all the tools that I know. And the first one, I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew how to just crop it and edit it.
That's perfect. So we have a question from Susan about the cost. So Susan, there is a trial version, so you can start using it just to see how it works. but usually Camtasia has a fee, so you would subscribe. I believe there is a potentially even a TechSoup Canada discount you can apply for, so then you can get discounted rate for it. But I think Manal and Alicia, it will go back directly to you, because when we were trying different tools, and we did try quite a few of them, and we were considering the cost of it. What do you think about the cost now after you have been using this tool for a while?
I think I will let Manal answer the question because she's more familiar. She purchased it and everything. But I just want to put it out there. If you use free version, because we did that for a few videos, you will get a watermark behind your video, which will say text it. So just to like put it out there. But I honestly feel it was worth it. I don't know the exact cost, but it is such a useful tool and it makes my job so much easier. So I'll let Manal tell about the cost.
Yeah, so we investigated for not-for-profit organization. I remember we purchased the license for 300 something, 350, 360. So, and it's available, I think, for 2 devices at the same time. So I think it's a decent price for this like tool. We used it at the beginning, as Alicia mentioned, with a watermark. All the videos that we recorded, it went wasted. So once we purchased the version, this videos, like the watermark disappeared. So we were able to upload it, and so whatever we tested and practiced, it wasn't a waste of time. We were able to use it in the actual like platform, YouTube.
Perfect. Any other questions? No? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Susan. And then feel free to ask questions at any time. Even if we finish the session, you can reach out to me. We can reach out to Alicia and Manal if there are any other questions. Thank you, both of you. I really appreciate you taking the time to share that. This means a lot. And, you know, it saves me from me doing the showcase as well.
Thank you, Monica, for having us.
Thank you. That's perfect. Okay, a few more minutes. We have around 15, 17 minutes to just kind of tie back some of the other pieces we may want to just touch on. So I thought, I know we are using a lot of information here, and then I have seen that you're actually already chatting in the chat and talking about and sharing resources. And Melanie told us that she used something called the DaVinci Resolve, which is another tool. There are many other ones, and we will put them in the resource list for you. The tools we mentioned, the tools we sort of mentioned as part of our discussion, are tools we tried and kind of are a bit more comfortable with. But we don't want to dismiss any other ones that you may have liked or you may use, because, you know, there's always something that's changing, right? Now, before we go into other tools or mention other tools, I really wanted just to go back to the storyboarding. There was a bit of a discussion around storyboarding in our presentation. And Manal and Alicia, do you use storyboarding when you create your videos?
Sorry, no, we don't use
okay.
that, no.
And this is one of those patterns. And I think when you actually get seriously into creating specific content in videos, depending on the purpose, you may do storyboarding, like the idea of doing a promotion. How do we do a promotion of something for 15 seconds? You have to be very selective, right? When we do instructional videos, it's a bit easier because we know exactly what we want to show. We may do a few takes on how we are going to explain it or approach it. So I haven't used a lot of storyboarding as well, but it is a really good way for you to sit down and really plan, at least on a piece of paper. You can draw it, you can write it out. I sometimes do more like text or just lines of paragraphs, sort of saying, this is what I want to see first, this is what I want to do next, just to kind of help organize it. And taking into account what Maxine mentioned with the idea of limit number of audio files or how many pieces you can put together on the time you have, that can help you plan a bit more and almost even take out the pieces that may be too much. So the storyboarding is a really great tool. And I'm not sure, Tracy, are we mentioning your digital project, or we are not mentioning your digital project today? I'm not sure if you're muted.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
I was muted and I have so many things open right now. I can't remember where I was. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm working. I don't know if anybody's still here. Some of the people who signed up were here. Susan knows about it because I invited her, but she's doing something else this summer. Yeah, I'm working on a project that we're a digital storytelling project. Sorry, it'll make you a bit sick as I go by. We're starting next week. It's for our Wayfinders project. We're going to do some sessions, so 6 sessions. That's what makes it hard, the timing of it, because it's in the summer. But if you have, lots of free time in the summer, if you have a little bit of free time in the summer, you might want to join us. And if you don't have free time this summer and you think you would want to join us at a different time, we're just piloting it now. And if the pilot goes well, hopefully we'll be able to offer it again at a time that's not so summery. So just get in touch with me and I'll tell you more about the project, but it would give you some space to practice some video creation skills, editing skills within the context of digital storytelling, and hopefully to create something, but then also to learn some techniques that you could use in the program with learners. So, okay, Melanie, yeah, I'm thinking Melanie might be able to actually facilitate a lot of the sessions for us. So yeah, yes, get in touch with me by email, Melanie, but I'll keep track of your name. And if anybody else is interested, please let me know.
And Tracy is the one who also touched on storyboarding during that digital project, just because we chatted about that, and there's so many different tools. So some users will actually go and use more advanced tools for storyboarding. Canva seems to have some templates that you will be able to use, but also just simple things like slides. I think Maxine mentioned that she lays it out in slides for herself, taking notes, documents, whatever works for you, just to help you map it out a bit so you have a better understanding of what you want, what you really want to include, and is this going to take, how much time you have for it. So is it too much for the time you have? So a lot of great tips. And if you want, this may be the part where you can work and collaborate with others, learning and trying some of those things together. So I really, really encourage you to contact Tracy. But the idea of storyboarding is really just to help you map it out, to have an idea of a bigger picture. What are you trying to do? Why am I trying to do it? And is what you're putting together making sense and really working for that message you want to send across? So as I mentioned on our slides, there's a link to the Canva templates. Even if you just go to Canva, search for storyboard, I have a screen capture there. You will see a lot of different templates will come up, and some of them are really handy. They have place for you to put a drawing or a picture if you want. They remind you to also include the text you want to be, like a script that you want to include with your story or video. It just helps to make it or plan a bit more in advance. So consider that. And the last link on that slide is just other tools. I found an article where somebody really talks about many other tools that are available as well, if you really want to go and try that. For some of you who are just starting, it may be a good way to kind of just even see what kind of parts would I want to include in the video. Introduction, the message, how can I kind of give it a flow? And some of those templates will give you those tips as well. So just take a look at them and see if it helps you as you're planning as well. And thank you, Tracy. You can go to the next slide. So getting back into the video tools, and I know, Susan, you asked amazing question, how do I record what I'm doing during earlier discussion. So Camtasia was the one that Manal and Alicia started using as well, not only for recording, but for editing. I should also mention that even if you're doing just basic PowerPoint slides, you can open your PowerPoint slides and it has a recording feature built in. So you can find an option in the menu. You will be able to record yourself over to narrate some of the slides you're working on if you want to. So even that is already built into PowerPoint. But Loom is another tool that we kind of like. The reason why I like Loom, and I may not have enough time to show you, but it is a tool that allows you to put a quick shortcut into your toolbar on your browser. When you click on it, it will just launch and allow you to record the screen, the selection of the screen, and allows you to record yourself with a video or to turn it off. So this idea of seeing the presenter, you can always turn it off. But what's nice about Loom is it will record the entire screen or the selection you want. And as soon as you stop, it will upload it to the Loom server and give you a link immediately. You don't have to upload it to YouTube. You don't have to edit it. There's tiny few edits in Loom when you open it into Loom server. But basically the idea is somebody asks me, how do I navigate to this page? I can launch Loom, show it on the screen, save it, send the link to that recording immediately from Loom. It's a very, very quick process. Screencastify will have a similar option as well, but it's just the Loom that kind of speaks to me. I kind of like that as a quick way to provide information and resources. So it's right there on Loom, but you can also download that recording from Loom to your computer or upload it into YouTube. So you're not restricted to only Loom as a place where it's going to be saved. So it's a nice way to kind of quickly record tips, resources you may want to share without really working with YouTube yet. You can try it and see if that works for you. And I think Maxine mentioned in her presentation that YouTube has an editor. So when you upload your video to YouTube, you actually have an option to go in and make some edits. But those edits are mostly around cutting. So you can cut out the beginning, cut out the end, or cut out in the middle. It's a bit hard with trying to pinpoint which exactly moment you want to cut out, and even harder if the issue is actually just audio. That's why Camtasia or tools like that are a bit better, because you can really focus on seconds within the video, and then you can cut them out in a very precise fashion. So it makes a huge difference. But if it is really just the beginning or the end, you can upload it to YouTube and take it out directly within your YouTube studio. So anyone who has a Google account automatically has a YouTube account, and you can sign in with your account, and then you can manage your YouTube studio in there with the videos you upload, with the videos you add to your playlist, not only yours, but somebody else's videos. You can do that as well. And all that together gives you a lot of tools and options to try as well. Okay. Any questions at this point? Okay. I know some of you are leaving because of the time, so that's not a problem. Let's go to the next slide and just touch base on the TikTok. Is a question from Behishta? Just checking. You have to go.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the presentation. My internet is freezing, so I have to leave because I'm just having a hard time. But I want to say thank you to you all, and thank you to the two interpreters as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and bye, Behishta. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So we have a few more minutes around TikTok, and I know TikTok is one of those products and topics that's a bit scary. Just because it's new. I think, if we talk about social media overall and tools we have been using, we know Facebook pretty well at this point because it has been around for a while. Then there is Instagram and Twitter that we may be using as well. And as we use some of those tools, others develop and then become more and more popular. Others start to be popular and kind of die off. But TikTok seems to be the one that kind of sticks around and is almost influencing some of the other social media channels. For example, Instagram. So when you think about Instagram, you may have seen stories and videos on Instagram. And if you're using both, if you have TikTok and Instagram, you may catch yourself looking at the screen and not being sure, am I looking at Instagram or am I looking at TikTok? Because they copy each other so much that their buttons are almost exactly the same and set up in the same layout. So it's very interesting how each of those tools is influencing another tool as well. But TikTok is an app. It's developed in Asia, and we have to remember that when we use any of those applications, how much information and what information I'm sharing and what the app provider is collecting. So some people warn you about TikTok and setting up accounts there. You should know that they will collect data about you. So they will collect data about your videos, and also if you're messaging or commenting on TikTok, they will also collect that data. So not everybody is a big fan, or everybody is a bit more cautious. When you're setting up a TikTok account, you create your own username, so you can be very generous in how you call your account and what you do with that. If you have regular info@gmail accounts, you can use those as well. That way you're kind of distancing a bit yourself from what TikTok is using about you and information you're sharing. and then what it's collecting as well. But just be mindful of that. And then I included a bit of a link to give you some overview of the TikTok and safety around that. But it is amazing app in terms of how much information and tools it gives you. You can literally pull out your phone, point at your pet, if you have a pet, record it doing something funny, and then immediately add sound, special effects, transitions, and closed captioning if you were talking during the video to that specific recording and post it. And because different users on TikTok use or look for different information, TikTok may recommend that video to other people. So if this is about your pet and other people watch pets, TikTok will recommend that video to them. And all of a sudden you start having a lot of views on your TikTok, even though that may not be somebody from the community you're in. So for us, when we talk about TikTok, we really want to start the community to talk about that, start using the recordings, sharing the information so that we can learn from each other if and what would be useful to the community as well. So we really encourage you to try and share. If you set up TikTok videos, to share them with us so we can actually add them to collections and show others what you're doing and how you're using it. Now, TikTok for the last year or so was mostly on mobile devices, but many of us are so used to laptops and desktops that they added a desktop version. So if you don't want to create videos, but you want to watch videos, if you follow the link from Prince Edward Learning Center, you could see, you could watch it online, and you can go and create your account online now directly through laptop and desktop and follow and watch other videos. You can even upload a video on TikTok, but it's not going to have all those features. So the extra effects, the text, the closed captioning, you don't have that in the desktop app. You actually have to use the mobile app for that. But it is a starting point. So if you're not sure if and how you can use desktop, consider just using the desktop version of it rather than mobile and see how it resonates with you and if you like it. Okay. That's it for our tech Q&A. I am going to just wait and see if there's any other questions, if there are any other tips you're looking for, let me know. If not, contact us after the showcase, or we will connect you with our presenters so you can continue. We will be sending the recording, all kinds of resources we had from you, from the chat and from our presenters. Very likely it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday before we actually share all that. That will also include extra links to the specific accounts we are mentioning, because we want to make sure you're comfortable and you can review them at your own time as well. And with that, I think we can move to the last slide, which is just exactly the wrap up for today. Mention again of the work that Tracy is doing if you're interested, but feedback is really important for us. So really, we encourage you to fill out our feedback form. Let us know how we did and what we did. And to let you know that we are taking a summer break. Many of you are on vacation, so we don't want to spoil that for you. We will be coming back in October with 2 more showcase sessions. The one in October, we are thinking we are going to look at Kahoot, because it's one of those topics that comes up a lot. So Kahoot and using games and interactive activities with the learners, how can they help you to engage them as well? So that's our topic for October. If you haven't registered yet, we really encourage you to add yourself to our list. We will be promoting it over the next few months. But we also want to know if you're interested or if there are other topics that you may be interested in. So the Google form is a way to connect with us and let us know what else can we do to help. Okay, that's it for us. We can stop sharing the screen and then just come back to the final group view, see if there is anything else you want to mention, and to say goodbye. All right. I'm just reading some of your comments as well. So Anita from LAMP, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. You should know I actually have my parents in Etobicoke very close to you. They're on Brown's Line. So I have been to your program a few times as well, just for a visit. But it's amazing to see you in our session. I really appreciate that. Perfect. And just you're muted. If you're speaking, just so you know, you're muted so we can hear you.
Sorry,
Perfect.
I was just saying thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you one day through COVID.
Oh, I hope so too.
Yeah, looking forward to opening and still carrying these online sessions. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
No problem at all. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments from anybody else who is around?
I think I'm going to have to retire before I have time to figure out all these.
Well, Susan, Tracy was kind enough, and if I'm not mistaken, you have an amazing math website on Google Sites. So we always learn from each other, and we really appreciate, how we can see how some of the tools are used in the practice. So thank you for joining today. And I really hope to see some of the things you may be interested, or at least maybe videos you will find that you can use with your learners, specifically around math, right?
Yeah, Monica, I have to say you were my inspiration for creating that math website, because I was watching you show how to use Google Sites, and I thought, oh, I could do that.
Perfect. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
And then Literacy Group needed our website updated a bit, not using Google Sites, using WordPress, which I've never used. So I got tasked with trying to figure that out, to change the accessibility of the fonts and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a never-ending rabbit hole. But
yes. But the impact, right? It's amazing how much it's shifting us all in a very different direction too. Oh, yeah. And then accommodating our learners. That's number one goal, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This was a good session. Thank you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you to our interpreters. Thank you so much. Marianne and Ashley, you are amazing. Thank you. I know sometimes we go a bit fast, and you have been so supportive and collaborative. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you.